one thing I really did learn from the Lord was that he's using everybody. He's not just using young people, he's not using older people, but he's using everybody in between, and that isn't a reason to not go. It's very important, I think, that we know that. And so I always like to say that, your ministry is whoever's in front of you. So if you are here in your job locally, sharing Jesus, then that's fantastic. If you have felt led to possibly at some point go overseas or to another part of the world and share Jesus with people, the bottom line is that world needs to hear about Jesus, and we're just the right people to do it. So I just wanted to share that, and then also I wanted to share, there was so many things that happened. We were gone for 2 months, and there was a lot of testimonies, but I do want to share one, and it had to do with the term that my wife and I, she's here as well on our team, we heard the term low-hanging fruit before we ever left for these nations. And the testimony I have this morning has to do with a man. We were part of partnering with a missions team in Spain, Sevilla, Spain. And towards the end of our stay there, we were part of an outreach that this church had turned one of their rooms into like a cafe. So there was tables and chairs and coffee and snacks, and we were asked to kind of like just filter and just kind of strategically place us throughout the different tables. And then the community was invited in and would sit down randomly just wherever they felt. And I had a man sit down at my table, and there was no script. I didn't know. I just knew that I prayed before I went there and asked the Lord to use me however he wanted to. And this man sits down, grew up in that area, so he's from Spain, all Spanish, very little English, but I did have a translator. And he sits down, he starts with, he was hit by a train. And I said, oh, in a car, huh? He goes, no, I was walking and the train hit me. And I immediately felt to tell him, God has you here for a reason. Not many people get to walk away from that kind of an accident. And he was limping, as a matter of fact. And so I asked him to kind of just share his testimony of his life. And you could just tell, he shared that he really loved God. He loved the Lord. He kept on, for those of you that don't know, Spain is a predominantly Catholic nation. Everybody's Catholic there. And so their identity a lot of times is in their Catholicism, is in their religion and their church. And so this man was sharing, and I kept hearing the word Catholic. And so I said, and I felt led to say to him, okay, so I hear Catholic. I hear you're Catholic. I get that. I said, but do you know Jesus? And he said, huh? I said, yeah. I said, and I shared John 14:6, where Jesus says, no one comes to the Father but through me. And so I said, have you accepted Jesus as your Lord and Savior? And he looked at me, and he didn't have a clue what I was talking about. He was really trying to understand what I was saying to him. And I said, look, man, I said, being Catholic doesn't get you into heaven. I said, it's a relationship with Jesus that gets you into heaven. And I said, would you like to have that today? And he looked at me like, yeah, I would love that. Like, this guy literally did not know. He loved the Lord, but he just didn't realize that. I said, yeah. I said, the relationship with Jesus is the connection that makes the walk with God ignite, and that's what connects you with God. And so he said, yeah, I would love to do that. And so we had one of our tracts, and on the back of the tract, it had where you can, confess and believe in your heart that God raised Jesus from the dead, you would be saved. And so I said, look, I've led people in the prayer. I said, but I want you to read this out loud from your heart and just confess it outwardly. And so he did that, and in that moment he received Christ, and he was born again, he was saved. And that was a new one for me. I have actually been doing street evangelism in Orlando for a few years with my wife before we even got married. We've led a lot of people to Christ. We prayed for a lot of people over the years, and that was a new one for me, that he thought everything was fine because he was Catholic, and he didn't realize that it was Jesus that he needed. And so that really encouraged me, and that was the low hanging fruit that my wife and I had heard about before we even went. And so he was able to accept Christ, and it was incredible. So that was just one of many stories that happened to me personally. And so, yeah, I'm believing that this guy is going on to do great things. And so I just wanted to share. And I did want to just end with encouraging all of you, just wherever you are in life. If you feel that little tug, or, you just need to maybe say yes. There's so many reasons to maybe not say yes, but if you do say yes to the Lord, He will make a way. He will arrange your bills. He'll arrange your house, your housing. My wife and I sold everything to do what we're doing, and He is so faithful to provide. So there's really no reason to say no. So if you feel led to do that, I would do it. So I just want to say thank you very much for having us here, and we love you guys.